Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. The big argument on Sports Talk Radio today centered on whether the Browns and Steelers were still a rivalry. The consensus was that the Ravens stole that rivalry when they moved to Baltimore in 1996. In the 50s and the 60s, the Steelers rarely won against the Browns. 70s, of course, and on were different. But if you get a chance, go Google Joe Turkey Jones, Terry Bradshaw, then Eric Metcalf's 2 punt returns in a game, then Bob McKay's kick in the groin area by Mean Joe Green. Rivalries are rivalries. We've got Mary Kay Cabot here tonight. More sports and Les Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Tuesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into its 25th consecutive year. And, of course, powered out by our friends at cleveland.com. Mary Kay Cabot, one of our friends from cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer, is here, smiling faces. It's time to smile. It's Steeler Week. Don't you know you're supposed to smile?
Yes, my goodness. I think there is a lot of smiling going on around town. Everywhere I go, people want to talk about the Cleveland Browns. Now people want to talk about the big Browns-Steelers game. I mean, this town is orange and brown right now.
It's unbelievable. And, you know, usually that kick that hit the upright and then bounced in usually goes the other way. But things have changed. It's a different world out there.
It really is. I mean, they're finishing games, and I think that's one of the biggest things that they're doing. Things can go wrong. You know, Baker Mayfield can throw a couple of picks in the second half, and guys come through, and they make plays. So their big name players are stepping up, coming through, and making the plays that they need to win games. And here they are at 4-1.
What do you think brought it on? Just confidence building up after the first win or two, or confidence in the coaching staff, or confidence in each other as Cleveland Browns players?
I think it's a combination of a lot of different things. I think that they've got a ton of talent on this team, and now I think it's being coached well. You know, they upgraded some talent, but they really upgraded the coaching staff. Offensively, defensively, I just think the schemes are tremendous. I think they're pivoting when they need to. I think they're making great adjustments. I think they're taking care of people like Odell Beckham Jr. when it becomes apparent that he needs a little boost here and there. I think they're moving Myles Garrett around to different spots to take advantage of weak matchups, and I just think they're doing a great job.
You know, what's also interesting is the players and the coaches aren't worried about outside influences, such as when Romeo Crennel was here, his first week here, I believe he had a pizza commercial, right? Is that Romeo?
Maybe.
Okay, yeah, that's how I feel about it. I'm pretty sure it was. And you had Colt McCoy with a car commercial first week out of the box, and some other things happen like that. They don't seem interested in all in that stuff. They want to win football games. If their stuff comes on after, so be it.
Well, you know, I mean, Baker Mayfield has still done a lot of commercials, and we're still seeing him all over the place, you know, when you turn on TV. But it hasn't affected the football team. For the most part, they have done a nice job of blocking out the noise. Even this week, I mean, this week has the potential to have a lot of distractions. Even Mike Tomlin already in his press conference today was asked about the whole Myles Garrett thing, and he shut that down. I think Kevin Stefanski will do a really nice job of what he's done so far since the moment he took the job, is to basically say, you know what, we are not going to talk about it. We are going to do it. We're going to be professional. We're going to be all about what happens on the football field, and we're going to block out all that noise.
But you got to believe that Stefanski studied that film over and over and over again, so he did know how to respond.
Oh, yes. I'm sure that he knows all about that. I mean, that incident was something that, it happened in front of everybody on national television. So people knew about it. I'm sure that he knows everything about it by now. He's very studious like that. And he's ready. He's ready for this week. And I think he was asked about it yesterday, too. And he did the same thing. He kind of evaded the question. And I think, we don't have Miles until Friday. So, I think that the Browns are going to do at least everything that they can to keep the focus on the game.
Right. All right. So you have a situation where the Browns are starting to win football games, changes the whole atmosphere. You talk about what goes on in the locker room. This does. Now you don't have the access you used to have to the locker room, but what are you hearing is going on in there that is different from a winning team versus a losing team?
Well, there's just a family feel on this team. These guys fight hard for each other. They're just very together. And you can take a guy like Rashard Higgins, have him inactive for 2 straight weeks, and it doesn't become, headlines that he's unhappy and all that kind of stuff. The dysfunctional stuff that happened with this football team in the past isn't really happening now. If something does start to, to get a little out of hand, they kind of nip it in the bud really well. So, I think that they're playing hard for each other, and they're staying very, very focused.
Well, it was interesting when both the wide receivers, Beckham and Landry, dropped perfect passes. Yet there's somebody there to pick them up, which the Browns haven't had in a lot of years.
Yeah, you know what? Exactly. Those are, those were 2 uncharacteristic drops that Jarvis had in the second half of that game. Actually, both in the fourth quarter of that game. 2 pivotal catches those would have been. But then, as you mentioned, somebody else comes in and makes a play. Ronnie Harrison makes a 47-yard pick six. Sheldrick Redwine comes in, replaces Ronnie Harrison, and makes a huge play. So, you can't say enough about those takeaways the defense are getting. 10 takeaways in 3 games have made a huge difference on this team.
Right. Tell me the atmosphere at the stadium the other day. They were up to 12,000 people allowable. Could you tell what could you tell? What was different about it? And is there any chance the next time the Browns come home, which will be obviously after this week's game on the road, will they be able to pick up the attendance on that, or are they going to be more careful based on what's going on out there?
Hopefully they'll get to add a few more after that. There didn't seem to be all that much difference to me between 6,000 and 12,000. It's so spread out in there that I didn't notice a huge difference, because when the 6,000 showed up, they were really, really loud. 12,000, it was nice that they doubled it. Hopefully they'll add even more. It's surprising that the Steelers are only allowed to have less than 6,000 for their game on Sunday.
It's more surprising that they're only a 4-point favorite. Does that show you more about Pittsburgh or more about Cleveland? Because I would have made it, if it was me, I'd have said 6 or 7.
Yeah, it's that was interesting. People, at least for now, people are buying into the Browns and believing that they are legit. And it's hard not to when you look and see, especially what Myles Garrett can do. And just in studying some of the Steelers, they have some issues on their offensive line.
All right,
and
now,
so have some of. Yeah.
And not everything is perfect because the Browns have some injury problems. They're dealing with multiple injuries in the secondary. So let's take a look at what they have problem-wise. Grant Delpit, of course, is out for the season with a ruptured Achilles. Greedy Williams placed on the IR yesterday with nerve injury in the shoulder. Ronnie Harrison is in a concussion protocol. And Carl Joseph missed week 5 with a hamstring injury. So where do the Browns go from here? Just hope they've got enough depth, or are they scanning the wires?
Well, they're looking for more help in the secondary. They have to now that Greedy isn't probably coming back either at all or later on in the season. So they really have to look for some people there for sure. But 2 good things happened on Sunday. Ronnie Harrison stepped in very nicely for Carl Joseph and gave them some really good safety play. He graded out very well. When he went out with his concussion, Sheldrick Redwine stepped in, and he played really well in the snaps that he had. If you recall, he started, I think it was 5 games last year. So he's got some starting experience under his belt, and I think they can try to get some things out of Sheldrick that they haven't done before. Those were his first defensive snaps of the season. So I think he's got a lot more to offer right now. I think that some better safety play is on the way.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. You can email us during the show at realleslavine@gmail.com. Mary Kay Cabot, cleveland.com, and the Plain Dealer is with us. Tomorrow night it'll be the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff. Thursday night, Tom Withers, the Associated Press, will join us. That'll be on Thursday right here between 6 and 7. We'll take a break. We'll come on back momentarily. We've got lots to talk about. If you'd like to get in on the phones, you could do that right now. Mary Kay Cabot is with us. She is the beat person for the Cleveland Browns on cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. And we'll be back in a moment. And we are here courtesy of our friends at cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Do you like Ohio State football? Would you like to get information from me, Doug Lesmerises, about Ohio State football without having to look at my face? We have got the plan for you. Become an Ohio State text subscriber through cleveland.com. You send a text, 614-350-3315. What do you get? 2, 3, 4 texts right in your phone every day about Ohio State football. Inside information, polls, voting, all kinds of things. You can be on our podcast. We take text subscriber questions on our Buckeye Talk podcast every week. If you really want to be involved with Ohio State football, in season or out of season, become an Ohio State text subscriber from cleveland.com. Send a text to 614-350-3315. 14-day free trial. What do you have to lose? $3.99 a month after that. 614-350-3315. I'll see you in your phone.
Tri-C is here for you. Now more than ever, you need a post-secondary education. So I encourage you to start your journey here at Tri-C. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your four-year plans have changed, Tri-C is where futures begin.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine. Les, Mary Kay, the Browns are now 4-1, and it's their first time going that record since 1994. ESPN's Dan Orlovsky has an interesting comparison for this year's Cleveland Browns. He had this to say. He said the Browns are the Titans from last year. Big ball play action early on. They take a lead, and they salt you away in the run game. If you take a look at the Titans from last year and compare them to the Browns of this year, we're a running team as well as the Browns. You can see that by the fact that Derrick Henry was the rushing champion of last year. Now, Tennessee and Cleveland, as far as passing, they go to passing only when really necessary. Tennessee, the Titans last year, they had 26.9 pass attempts per game. That was last in the NFL. That was the fewest amount. The Browns this year, they averaged 30.8 pass attempts. That is the fourth lowest in the NFL. Now, we know the Titans went 9-7, and they were the sixth spot in the playoffs, but they pulled off a couple upsets and made the AFC Championship. So Les, Mary Kay, just want to ask you guys, what do you guys think of this comparison? Is this a fair assessment of what the Browns are this year?
Well, Mary Kay, you know as well as anybody that every year there's some team that steps up and becomes somebody that they probably shouldn't have been. And that would be last year. It would have been the Titans. I don't think anybody predicted Mike Vrabel's team to do that. And this year, I think the Browns are that. So I don't know if you're talking about just style points-wise or just results-wise. I think it's a good comparison. What's also a good comparison is the fact, Mary Kay, that in the AFC, so many good teams, at least early on in the first 4 or 5 games, and the NFC struggling to put good teams out there. there's going to be some bad teams making the playoff and some good ones sitting out.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Yeah, some of the AFC teams have been really, really good this season, and there's actually a couple. There's a good game on tonight, and between the Bills and the Titans, so that'll be one to watch as well. But yeah, a lot of good games, and I think it's a apt comparison. I think you can make that comparison. There's a similar offensive style between the two teams. Again, very run oriented, play action. The play action passing game. Ryan Tannehill does that, and it's kind of brought out the best in him as well. So yes, I think you can make that comparison. The one thing that the Browns are doing, just about better than anybody right now, and that we've said this before, is taking it away. If you can continue to get those takeaways and set your offense up with great field position, you're going to win a lot of football games.
216-575-0403. Mary Kay Cabot is with us. Mary Kay, this is easy to do. Whenever a team does something that they haven't done in a long time, you pull this one out of the cupboard. The last time the Browns were 4-1, Kevin Stefanski was 12 years old.
Yeah,
wow.
The last time the Browns were 4-1, I had no children, and now they're 24, 22, and almost 20. Yeah, there are a lot of things that are different from the last time that the Browns were 4-1.
How about Baker Mayfield not being born yet?
Yeah, and neither was Miles. Miles Garrett wasn't born yet either.
The other day, Baker seemed to be upset. They said something about the Browns being having the best record since 94, and he took exception to it. He said, "I don't really care." I don't think that's true. I think that he knows what he got into when he came here. He knows the stats, the important ones, right?
Yeah, I think that was right after they were 3-1 that he said that. I don't care. This is a new thing now. But yeah, they understand the importance of what went on before, and I do think that that they need to be respectful of it. I mean, because these fans have been around through thick and thin.
Right. I think part of it though is because the fans are not there. The players don't feel it on the field, which they normally would do.
Yeah, maybe that's part of it. Maybe that is part of it. But I don't think anyone should dismiss what's gone on before, because when the getting gets good, it's going to be amazing in this town.
No question about it. All right, when the Browns were 4-1, that in 1964, Bill Clinton was president. O.J. Simpson had the white Bronco chase earlier in that season. Gas was $1.11 a gallon. Wow. TV show Friends debuted, and George Foreman's Grill was introduced. Who do you introduce George Foreman's Grill to? Any idea? You say, here it is.
Maybe all of his kids named George.
I'll name George. Take one step forward. George, where are you going? George Foreman Grill. Unbelievable. I wonder if he ever cooked anything on it. Wyatt Teller is another interesting guy, and he got some publicity last week. Next thing you know, he's getting publicity from an injury. And what are you hearing about that? He's looking for a second opinion now. What are you hearing?
Well, you know what? As of right now, it's a calf strain. He's week to week. That means he's probably going to miss several weeks. Usually, if it's, you don't say week to week if the guy's coming back, 1 week from now. So I would imagine he'll be out 3 to 4 weeks, something like that. But the good thing is that Chris Hubbard has stepped in nicely for him, and they're so strong all along the offensive line that I think they'll be okay. I mean, I was just studying up a little bit on the Steelers' offensive line, and they've got some serious issues on that offensive line.
Obviously, Hubbard did something in Pittsburgh they didn't like, but they're liking it here. What are you hearing, or what are you seeing about Chris Hubbard's performance? Just adding depth to the front line?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, he never started a game. He's never played guard in the NFL in a regular season game. So to be able to step in there and do that, I thought that was remarkable. One thing that I think helped him, and I don't know this for sure, but the fact that they sort of play like, they move around and they spread it out and they play a little bit of a wide zone type of scheme. Maybe he's used to playing in a little bit of space because he's out on the outside. So to have to move inside, he didn't have to feel that, that packed in feeling that you might feel because of the way they run their offensive line scheme.
All right, so I'm watching the game on Sunday, and you hear about the injury to Dak Prescott, and they showed it, which was, I think they got to make a rule. You can't show plays like that, but that's a different story. And then I'm thinking how tough that is for Dallas, not that I care about them, but you can't compete without Prescott. And 2 minutes later, you see Baker Mayfield holding his ribs, and they never, they showed him going into the blue tent, but they never said anything about it, so we didn't know. It's amazing how much turns on whether you have a healthy quarterback or not.
That is so true. That is so entirely true. I mean, your whole season can go down the drain. Think of where the Kansas City Chiefs would be without Patrick Mahomes. Certain teams, if you lose that quarterback, forget it. So that was a scary moment when Baker Mayfield went into that tent with the rib injury. We didn't know for sure until a little while after the game that the rib x-rays were negative. So that's good for him. I'm sure he's still going to be a little bit sore. He'll probably have to wear, he's probably got bruised ribs. He's going to probably have to wear like a flak jacket or something like that. But he's a tough guy, and he has vowed he's going to play in this game, and I don't think it's anything to really worry too much about.
Well, I hate to bring up a question when a question may not be needed, but if they didn't know what the injury was at the time or how serious it was, why would you put him back in the game until you knew? Or do you think they knew before we did?
I don't know. I don't know if they did. I honestly don't know if they were able to do a quickie. I don't know if they can do a quickie x-ray in the tent to see that everything's okay. I can't answer that question right now. I'm not really sure about that. But he must have reported feeling good enough to go back into the game, and they probably relied some on the self-reporting. As long as he could breathe, as long as he wasn't in excruciating pain at that moment, they probably felt he was okay.
Well, a lot of Browns fans were in excruciating pain when that happened, I could tell you that. 216,
I bet.
yeah, 216-575-0403 is the number to call. But Baker is expected to play, right, on Sunday?
Yes, absolutely. It's not even in question right now.
Right. All right, so that'll be on Sunday. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports and Less Levine, with new content posted each and every day. We post the question during the morning. You answer it all day long, then we talk about it at night, which we'll do a little bit later. More Sports and Less Levine is powered by cleveland.com. Back in a moment.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Hi, welcome back to More Sports and Less Levine. Les, Mary Kay, when you look at the first-year rookie head coaches in the NFL right now, you could easily say that Kevin Stefanski is having the most success so far. ESPN is making an argument early on for Kevin Stefanski as potential coach of the year. They say long way to go, of course, and Sean McDermott, Matt LaFleur, Sean McVay, to name just a few, will likely have something to say about it before this is all over. But if you end a 17-year Cleveland playoff drought in your first year as a head coach, I'm guessing you have a pretty fair claim on the trophy. He has worked in so many different offensive systems that they believed he could meld his experiences together and be willing to find different ways to win as circumstances dictated. If the goal was to calm things down in Cleveland so that the stars could shine, mission accomplished so far. So, guys, my question is this. What do you guys think? Is Kevin Stefanski an early front runner for Coach of the Year?
Hey, that's the last thing I want to hear about right now. It's a little too early for that, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit early for that. I think he has done a tremendous, tremendous job, especially considering the circumstances. But I will also say this. There are just not many first-time head coaches that walk into a situation where you have an offensive line like this, a defensive line like this, Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Austin Hooper, Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb, Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, Jack Conklin. I mean, Pro Bowlers everywhere, first rounders everywhere. It's a really good football team. It's a very talented football team. There's a lot more talent than there was last year. And I'm not saying that he doesn't deserve to be a front runner for Coach of the Year right now, but a lot of first-time head coaches would give anything to have a roster like this.
Right. Normally, if you're getting a job as a first-year coach, that means you didn't have talent like that.
Right. Absolutely. This was a unique circumstance. I mean, a lot of this talent was here last year, and the coaching was bad. So they just had to switch out a bad coach for a good coach and let them roll.
And the other thing is, it's such a thin line between success and non-success that you think you're doing everything right, then the ball bounces your way and you win the game. The ball bounces the other way, you lose the game, and you just got to weigh that out. But I can't, in 5 games, Mary Kay, I can't think of a clock management snafu. I can't think of horrible play calling. In fact, last week I wasn't in favor of him calling his own plays, and I've seen what he's done, and I say, okay, I'm not going to harp on that anymore. He gets to call his own plays because in what he has done, it's been quite good.
It's been very good. It's been very good, and he's adjusted as the weeks have gone by. I mean, he's really figuring out how to call a game better for Baker Mayfield each week.
And he's getting getting the play in faster too, isn't he?
Yes, they're getting the play in. I mean, he's really super smart. I mean, he's sharp. He's really, really a smart, sharp guy. I mean, these are very, very intelligent individuals that are running this operation. And there were just some serious issues last year that they're not dealing with anymore. And I contend that had they hired Kevin Stefanski last year, I think that they would have won a lot more games. I think he recognized the importance of the running game. I think he understands, using the whole 2 tight end thing. Now, they wouldn't have had some of the talent that they have this year. The talent upgrade has really helped a lot. But I think they would have been good for a couple of more victories last year had they had a better coach.
Yeah, I think you meant Freddie Kitchens, but you were talking about if they fired Stefanski. I don't think you meant that. I think you meant Freddie.
Yeah, I don't know. What I meant was if they had Kevin last year.
Yeah, then it would have been better on the field.
Last year, I really think that they would have won 2 or 3 more games.
Okay, speaking of winning games, we were told early on that you're going to try to win games different, not the same rubber stamp sort of a way to approach a game. So some days you're looking at a run operation, other days passing. You obviously, when you have the spectacular plays like Odell Beckham, that's great. But he and Jarvis, I'm getting on Jarvis for the first time. They got to make those catches. Those are not hard catches that they drop.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm not even recalling the Odell drop right now, but I did see 2 Jarvis drops in the 4th quarter, and he absolutely makes those plays 99 times out of 100. He's got tremendous hands. I mean, we saw all 3 guys, all 3 Pro Bowlers, Jarvis, Odell, and Austin Hooper, make great contested catches in the first half of the game, where you looked at that and you were like, how did he just end up with that ball? Because those guys are that good. And so for Jarvis to drop those 2 4th quarter passes was actually quite shocking. And I don't know, he said that was going to haunt him for a few days. I'm sure it did. We just never see that from him.
Well, they won the game, so it doesn't have to haunt him for too long. All right, what do we have coming up? Pittsburgh and Cleveland. The rivalry may not be what it used to be, but I sense the fans want it to be again. And to have that happen, they got to win some games in a row here against the Steelers.
Yeah, this would be huge. This would be huge if they can win this one. And again, it's not going to be easy, but as I'm doing my studying, one of the ways where they can, where they can win the matchup is their defensive line versus the Steelers' offensive line. And when you start getting Myles Garrett wrecking the game like he has done, he has made plays in each of the last 4 games that kind of changed the game. If they can get him doing that and find some weak links on the line, and they have them, then they can win this football game.
Yeah, that strip sack play is unbelievable because the quarterback or the running back, whichever has it, they got to be thinking about where Myles Garrett's arms are, and as a result, they don't necessarily concentrate on where they're supposed to be. It's really one of the most effective plays in pro football.
Yeah, I mean, he's going for the ball this year, and now he's getting it. And again, I've harped on this so often, and I was pretty vocal about the fact that I just didn't think I had seen enough in him the first couple of years. And now that's all changed. He's making the game-changing plays that you need to make. That's what a number 1 overall pick should do. That's the kind of generational talent we heard he was going to be, and he's living up to it now, finally.
And if Pittsburgh is expecting him to have a blow-up situation, we'd be shocked if it happens. After watching him this year, we'd be shocked if something bad happens.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't anticipate anything like that whatsoever. And again, I think with Myles going into Pittsburgh, with there being only less than 6,000 fans there, I think it really takes the edge off. It really takes the sting and the heat out of the situation and diffuses it a little bit with him going back into Pittsburgh.
Exactly. Right now it's Smiley One. They're making it easy to invest in new heating or cooling comfort systems without breaking your budget. For a limited time, take advantage of the special financing, 36 months on select Bryant high-efficiency equipment. They'll make it easy for your family to stay comfortable all year long. Call Smiley One for further details. We'll come on back in a moment. Mary Kay Cabot is with us, and we are powered by cleveland.com.
We're living in uncertain times, but you don't have to put your future on hold. At Tri-C, you can move ahead while staying safe and saving money. The majority of fall classes will take place online, but we've added a variety of formats to meet your learning needs, and we've taken many steps to keep you safe on campus. Whether you're ready to get started or your 4-year plans have changed, check out Tri-C's programs and resources, because Tri-C is where futures begin.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me tell you a little bit about Brown's Football Insider. For only $3.99 a month, you can get texts sent right to your phone each day from me, Dan Lobby, Scott Pasco, and Ellis Williams. In addition to that, you'll receive a Football Insider newsletter every day with special things from us, things that you won't see anywhere else on the site. You'll get breaking news, analysis, features, film breakdown, and things like that. Texting us directly gives you a great chance to cut through the clutter of Facebook, Twitter, other social media, and avoid the trolls. Also, it's the only way to get your questions on the Orange and Brown Talk podcast. So why should you sign up? Try a 14-day free trial. You can cancel at any time. All it takes is one text, but you won't want to cancel. We have hundreds of subscribers join us over the last year. They love it and have stayed with us. We're seeing the Football Insider community grow every week. And it's only $3.99 a month, which is less than 14 cents a day. What I like most about Football Insider is the opportunity to connect with you one-on-one and really communicate with you. So how can you become a Football Insider? You can click on cleveland.com/Browns, the blue banner at the top of the page. Or easier yet, text me at 216-208-3965. Again, that's 216-208-3965.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
To keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
We're talking a lot about Pittsburgh today. This date in sports history, October 19th, 1940. The Pittsburgh Pirates win the World Series 10-9, seventh game of that series. Bill Mazeroski, the second baseman, hits a walk-off home run. Yogi Berra playing left field that day, the ball over his head. And the Pittsburgh Pirates win that game 10-9 and win the series 4-3. Hey, Mary Kay, when you write down let's take a look at the birthdays for the day. Eddie Matthews, who was from the Braves, he was the first man on the Sports Illustrated cover. Jerry Jones, owner of the Cowboys. Dr. Pepper, born on this date in 1947. Doc Rivers, as well as Jerry Rice, Paul Pierce, one of the better days of birthdays in the year 2020. Mary Kay, when you write Ben Roethlisberger's name down, do you have to check it each time to see about the spelling? I always leave the E off.
No, after all these years, I can spell it. I don't like to spell it. It's a pain. I should just have it on speed spell somewhere where I can just I should have a Roethlisberger button that I could just hit after all these years. I've typed it so many times.
Well, when you think about it, getting ready for this year, most of us, although you may have had the inside otherwise, but most of us didn't think that he was well enough to come back and play. He hasn't missed a beat.
No, he hasn't. And I'm sure that he is, probably getting more confident week by week. And he's got some really great playmakers around him that are doing some great things. Chase Claypool had 3 touchdown catches in that game. So yeah, that gives them confidence, and they still have a good running game, and their defense is playing well. So they have a nice supporting cast around him.
And the Browns have not beaten him, is that right? They haven't in Pittsburgh.
No, they haven't beaten him in Pittsburgh, and they haven't won there since 2003. So it's been a nice long time since they have defeated them in Pittsburgh. And again, it's going to be tough, but when I look at their offensive line, you just cannot have a shaky offensive line when you've got Myles Garrett, Olivier Vernon, and Sheldon Richardson coming at you. You need to be solid across the way, or you're going to really struggle.
As you analyze the game, that's the key area on both sides?
I think that could be the key to the game. I think that if those guys are out, they've got David DeCastro and Marquise Pouncey right now are kind of hurting. Now it's Steelers week, and just like Rashard Higgins said yesterday, Baker better get his ribs right because it's Steelers week. Same thing with Pouncey and DeCastro. I'm sure everybody's like, whatever you guys have going on, you're just going to have to wait until next week to deal with it because it's Browns week and you need to be out there.
All right,
but if those two guys can't play, I mean, that will hurt them.
What about the defense of Pittsburgh now?
Well, once again, they are averaging 5 sacks a game. They are number 2 in the NFL, allowing only 64 yards rushing.
Wow.
So they're doing a really, really nice job of shutting down the run game. They're 6th in the NFL with giving up only 21.8 points a game. And you can see some other stats there. So they're doing a nice job in a lot of areas. One place they're struggling is third down. They're not doing well on third down. So that's an area where the Browns can make some hay.
We talked about it earlier, Myles Garrett's return to Pittsburgh. You don't see it as big a deal as some people are trying to make it out to be.
No, I mean, I do think it's a big deal. I think it's a huge deal. And I think as the week goes on, we'll write more about it and talk more about it and hear more about it. But I think it's less of a deal. And even Myles talked to me about this when I interviewed him one-on-one last month, is that it's just so different. If there's not 70,000 screaming fans and people waving towels at him and signs all over the place, 6,000 fans, they just aren't going to be able to make that same kind of an impact on him.
Mary Kay, you've been following the Browns for so long now. Do you feel I don't want to say part of the team, but when you have a big game like this, you feel it, don't you? You feel it. It'll be different because the press box isn't a regular situation, but it emanates itself all the way out, doesn't it, to you people who cover the game?
Yeah, it's a big game for everybody. It's a big game to cover. I mean, it definitely, you feel it. You feel Steelers week. You feel the magnitude of what's going on here. It happens, every Zoom call, every interview that you get on, just people talk about how big this is. Mike Tomlin today, he really captured it very well, just saying, this is the AFC North. This is a huge battle. They're 4-1. We're 4-0. This is what you live for in the NFL. So I think everybody feels that this game can loom large as they move through the rest of the season. I mean, it could come back to this. The Browns could say, hey, that helped make or break us.
Is there any doubt in your mind that the NFC North is the best division in football?
The AFC North?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's right up there in terms of toughness all across the board. Yeah, I think a strong case can be made for that. Now, they don't necessarily have the best team here in the AFC North, but just the top three teams are very good. And the Bengals are really coming along, and they're going to be a team to watch with that Joe Burrow.
If they can keep him healthy.
Yeah, I hope they can. It's so important. I did an interview with Ryan Grigson, the Browns senior consultant who used to be the Colts general manager. And he, in that, and in talking to him and Andrew Berry, they just talked about the importance of just building that offensive line. You want to build both lines, but especially, protecting a young quarterback is so vitally, vitally important.
Northeast Factory Direct has 3 great locations, including the website. You'll want to check that out, northeastfactorydirect.com. Also Macedonia on Freeway Drive. Then you've got Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, and of course West 140th Street, the original one. That is in near the airport in the west side of Cleveland. We'll come back in a moment. Mary Kay Cabot is with us. More Sports and Les Levine is powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone basement floor. Add more livable space, inhibit the growth of mold and mildew, and improve air quality for your family. It's the healthier, more beautiful basement floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your basement floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Let's check out a How Come Quickie tonight. How come the Browns have been hamstrung by the injury to Carl Joseph? See, it was a hamstring issue. Huh.
Good one.
Thank you. Waiting for something out there. 216-575-0403 is the number. We also have the voicemail of Truth and Reason, which you can call when we're not here. That's 216-200-6650. Let's go out and see what Ron Byer has to say tonight.
Hi, Les. This is Ron Byer. Hey, Les, even with all the craziness going on in the world right now, I have to tell you, Les, the excitement has returned for me for Browns Games Day. I've experienced many memories of Browns football throughout my life, but I would like to take this team and younger generation of Browns fans back to my best memories when it was Bernie Kosar, Mack and Biner, Minifield and Dixon, and most importantly, when there was the true dog pound. The excitement in the stadium and all over Browns Nation was tremendous. and probably will be never duplicated again. But I hope this team brings that feeling somehow back again so everyone can experience and relive this.
Thank you, Ron. Good to talk to you, or good to listen to you. Mary Kay, when you hear calls like that, or people talking like that, the Browns, for example, if you're, I don't know, if you're under 35 years old, you don't remember Bernie Kosar and what he was doing. What the excitement of this town when Kosar was getting it going in the late 90s, I don't think I've ever experienced anything like that. And I'm a little older than most of those people. But you hear about it. If you're younger, you hear about it. But until you actually see it, you won't believe it.
No, and I'm really excited for, especially like you mentioned, all the younger people that haven't gotten a chance to experience that in their lifetime. It is amazing when it gets good here. It's so much fun, and they are just in for a treat. I wish it wasn't happening at a time when the Browns can have so few fans in the stadium, because that place would be rocking by now. And I do sincerely hope that as the season goes along, they can add more and more fans into the stands. But I will say this: at a time when everybody really in the world needs something to feel good about, it's been such a stressful time with COVID and everything else going on. It's really nice for Cleveland to have the Browns winning and to give this town something to be happy about.
Well, I'll go one step further. About 2 years ago, I was filling in on 92.3, and we had Boomer Esiason on. And Boomer, of course, does his local shows in New York plus the national. And he said that the NFL, if you really got them to admit what they'd like Cleveland to be a successful franchise. They'd like to see Cleveland be relevant again because of the excitement that they get out of Cleveland on the telecast, on the websites, on everything else that they don't get from anywhere else throughout the week or throughout the season. So it's good for the NFL if the Browns do well.
That's absolutely true. The Browns move the needle nationally, and they always have. That's why when you wake up on a Sunday morning, all the national writers and national pundits, they always want to have some kind of Browns nugget or Browns news, because people snap to attention when you're talking about the Cleveland Browns. Even all the years that they were losing, there was still so much intense focus and scrutiny on this football team. So when they do really start to win, and they're in the midst of that right now, it's going to absolutely explode and be fun for everyone.
You get calls from all over the country on game day or even before game day. What, other than Pittsburgh, and I'm not even sure about Baltimore, but what region or what area or what teams give you the most calls?
Oh, in terms of like doing radio shows and things like that?
Yeah.
You know what? It's kind of spread out. What happens right now at a time like this when the Browns start winning is you start to get a lot of the national calls. You start to be on, the Doug Gottlieb show and the Dan Patrick show and the, whatever, just, Mad Dog and Sirius and all the national things start coming out of the woodwork. And that's fun because, it gives us a chance to kind of put Cleveland out there a little bit nationally, and I really like to do that.
And it's a recognition of what a great job you do.
Well, you know what? It's the Cleveland Browns, and so they're excited to talk, and I'm happy to talk about it.
Got an email from Pat. Pat says, all those people who said the Browns organization would never change until fans stopped going to the games? Well, they were right.
Yeah, right. That's funny. Yeah,
has anybody seen Jimmy Haslam during? Is he playing to the crowd, so to speak, or I haven't seen much of him.
No, they keep a low profile during the season. They let the coaches do their job. They let Andrew Berry, be the spokesperson for the personnel side. They let Kevin Stefanski be the face of the football side and the coaching staff.
And then they go in and fire them all.
Well, not this time. Not this time. I think they have nailed it this time. I really do.
I think they do, and it could have been a year earlier, but it was not. All right, we're coming back. We got one more segment to go with Mary Kay Cabot of the Plain Dealer and cleveland.com. Tomorrow night, Dennis Maniloff. On Thursday night, it'll be Tom Withers. Let's take a break, come back in a moment, powered by cleveland.com.
Transform your home for the holidays with an authentic Nature Stone garage floor. No more tripping on cracked, uneven concrete. Stop slipping on puddles and standing water. It's the safer, more beautiful garage floor that's easy to clean and never needs replaced. That's why it's backed by Russell's Promise. For a limited time, get more Nature Stone than ever before with up to half your garage floor free. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com to qualify for your free flooring. It's not just a floor.
Wow, it's Nature Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, the D-Man Dennis Maniloff joins us. We're on from 6 until 7 p.m. live Eastern Time, and you can archive it all day long on cleveland.com. Mary Kay Cabot is with us. Mary Kay, I'm not going to ask you for your prediction yet, score-wise, but what kind of game do you think it'll be? Low scoring, high scoring, running, passing? What do you think? Weather won't be a factor, right?
No, I don't think so. I think it will be sort of fair to middle in scoring. I think it'll be somewhere in the 20s. Probably, I don't know, someone's going to score whatever, high 20s, someone maybe mid 20s. I think it'll be close. Wow. I don't know. I really have to dig in. This is one of those games where, the Browns, in order to get where they want to go this year, they're going to have to win some games that people don't expect them to win. The Dallas Cowboys game was one of those games. Now we're starting to see that their defense is pretty darn bad, but at the time, all we knew about was how great that offense was, and they went down there and won that game. This is a game like that. The Browns are going to need to go in and try to steal one of these games from the Steelers, no pun intended.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
So, I don't know who I'm going to pick yet, but boy, it's going to be, it would be amazing if they could beat the Steelers. It just would be great.
You brought up a great point where Dallas, we all marked that off as a loss before when the schedule came out. And it turned out that it wasn't as surprising as it might have been. But every year it seems that some team that you just don't expect to make it, and maybe this year that team is the Browns, maybe last year it was Tennessee. But every year there's somebody, and it's rarely the same team a couple of years in a row.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you have your teams that are very consistent and that are very good, and those teams tend to have the really good quarterback that is just going to give you phenomenal play year in and year out, and that includes, Drew Brees and Russell Wilson and Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. If you have the quarterback, that's much of the battle, and hopefully the Browns do have the quarterback now that can take this team to where they want it to go.
Did you get to see Alex Smith at all, or highlights of him?
No, I didn't. I didn't get a chance to.
You got to root for him personally, but boy, I hate to see him out there because I hate to see something nasty happen. It's almost expecting it to happen.
Well, especially when you're playing against Aaron Donald and he's coming up with a 4-sack game. That's very scary. But it is a tremendous comeback story. So yes, I think everybody in the NFL is pulling for him.
Yeah, now let him hang it up and go retire. That's me.
Yeah, unless he's really ready for this. The other thing that was just horrible this past week was Dak Prescott with that severely injured ankle. I mean, just that was horrible to watch how it's good for the league to have great players like that lighting it up on Sundays, and to see him go down, it was sad.
Yeah, that's why you protect the quarterback with rule changes and all that stuff. You can't have offense without a good quarterback. So I was surprised. Back in the 70s and 80s, one of the big rivalries was the Raiders and the Chiefs. It seemed like they played every week, and finally the Raiders got a win. Did it surprise you that I was just surprised that the Kansas City Chiefs didn't win that one easily at home.
I know. I was surprised about that too. I was really surprised. And of course, the first thought that comes to mind is, that's one of those games where you may have circled it as not an easy victory for the Browns, but circle that one as a victory for the Browns. Now it looks like that's going to be just a little bit tougher than people may have anticipated.
All right, now you got to come up shooting. Win or loss on Sunday for the Browns.
Oh, you're going to put me on the spot about this?
Well, all right. Mark it down somewhere and slip it under the couch, and I
haven't decided who I'm going to pick yet.
Okay.
I would have told you, but I haven't decided yet. I'm still doing my due diligence.
Okay, so your due diligence will wind up making it something like 24-21, something like that, one way or the other.
28, 24, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't tell Cody Parkey that nobody makes field goals at that end.
I know. My goodness. Yes, it's about darn time, right?
Hey, was there a I don't know what the press back looked like or how they handled it, but when Parkey's ball hit the goalpost and went in, was there a shriek in the press box, or what was there? Or were you guys too spread out?
Yeah, we were too spread out, and we were too spread out. We have to shout to talk to each other anymore, so I didn't really hear any shrieking.
All right, Mary Kay, great job. Enjoy the trip to Pittsburgh. Hopefully you'll bring back a winner, and we'll talk about it next Tuesday night.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, Les.
Thank you. Our pleasure. All right, Mary Kay Cabot, reader in the Plain Dealer and cleveland.com. All right, that'll do it for us. Dennis Maniloff tomorrow night, and we'll continue on throughout the week. Tom Withers will join us. That'll be on Thursday. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.